Imagine a stormy night in the 19th century where the boundaries of life and death are about to be shattered. Welcome to the world of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Hello, literature lovers. Today we delve into the Gothic masterpiece that has inspired countless adaptations and debates. Written by Mary Shelley when she was just 18, Frankenstein is a tale of ambition, creation, and the consequences of playing God. Okay, now let's see its major and minor characters. So, the first one is the protagonist of this novel, Victor Frankenstein, a young scientist who creates the creature that is the monster. And that would be our second important character, the monster. It is a hideous looking creature that Victor Frankenstein creates. Though the name Frankenstein has become associated with the monster is in fact nameless. That means Mary Shelley didn't give any particular name to this creature. The third important character would be Robert Walton, an explorer who rescues Victor from the ice. Here's his harrowing story, and then he sets it down on paper in letters to his sister Margaret Saville. Our fourth important character is Elizabeth Lavenza. She is Victor's sister by adoption and later his life, his wife, and his love. The fifth one is de Lassay, a blind old man who lives in exile with his children Felix and Agathian in a cottage and a forest. So they are all the major characters in the novel. Now let's look into its minor characters. There are a bunch of minor characters, and among them I would like to mention Henry Clerval to be the first one because he is Victor's dear friend from childhood. The second one would be Alphonsus Frankenstein, who is Victor's father. The third is Justine Mortis, a young woman. The Frankenstein family adopts her at the age of 12, and she plays a crucial role in the chapters of Frankenstein. We will look into this in our summary portion. And the fourth one is William Frankenstein, who is Victor's youngest brother, beloved by everyone. The monster strangles him in a forest near Geneva to take revenge against Victor. The fifth one is Ernest Frankenstein, Victor's younger brother by 6 years, and he is the only Frankenstein to survive the novel. This is a fact. The sixth one is Caroline Beaufort, Beaufort's daughter and Victor's mother. The seventh is Felix and Agatha. I have already mentioned them that they are Delis's children. The eighth one is Safi, a very interesting character, and she is the young Turkish Arabian whose beauty captivates Felix. Though raised as a Muslim, she longs for a freer and happier life with Felix, a Christian. The 9 and 10 are very much interesting and they are different from the other minor characters. So the 9 one is M. Waldman, who is Victor's chemistry professor at Ingolstadt, and he supports Victor's pursuit of natural philosophy, that is also known as physical philosophy, physical science, and especially chemistry, and becomes a mentor to Victor. The 10th is M. Krempe. He is also Victor's professor of natural philosophy at Ingolstadt. This is a city in Germany. And a short skirt conceited the man, and Krempe calls Victor's studies are the nonsense. That means M. Waldman supports Victor, but he doesn't. Okay? Now let's discuss the story of Frankenstein. It's a classic tale worth exploring. And your mission is to link all the characters to the plot I have outlined. Good luck with your job. Now let's start. So, Robert Walton, the captain of a ship bound for the North Pole, writes a letter to his sister Margaret Saville. in which he says that his crew members recently discovered a man adrift at sea. The man, Victor Frankenstein, offered to tell Walton his story that Frankenstein has a perfect childhood in Switzerland with a loving family that even adopted orphans in need, including the beautiful Elizabeth, who soon becomes Victor's closest friend, confidant, and love. Victor also has a caring and wonderful best friend, Henry Clerval. Just before Victor turns 17 and goes to study at the university at Ingolstadt, his mother dies of scarlet fever. At Ingolstadt, Victor dives into natural philosophy with a passion, studying the secrets of life with such zeal that he even loses touch with his family. He soon rises to the top of his field and suddenly, one night, discovers the secret of life. With visions of creating a new and noble race, Victor puts his knowledge to work. But when he animates his first creature, its appearance is so horrifying he abandons it. Victor hopes the monster has disappeared forever. But soon, months later, he receives word that his youngest brother, William, has been murdered. Though Victor sees the monster lingering at the site of the murderer and is sure it did the deed, he fears no one will believe him and keeps silent. Justin Mortis, another adoptee in his family, has been falsely accused based of the crime. She is convicted and executed. Victor is consumed by guilt. So, to escape its tragedy, Frankensteins go on vacation. Full Frankenstein family go on vacation. Victor often hikes in the mountains, hoping to alleviate his suffering with the beauty of nature. One day, the monster appears, and despite Victor's curses, begs him incredibly eloquently to listen to its story. The monster described his wretched life full of suffering and rejections solely because of his horrifying appearance. The monster also explains how he learned to read and speak so well. The monster blames his rage on humanity's inability to perceive his inner goodness and his resulting total isolation. It demands that Victor, its creator who brought it into this wretched life, create a female monster to give it the love that no human ever will. Victor refuses at first, but then he agrees. Back in Geneva, Victor's father expresses his wish that Victor marry Elizabeth. Victor says he first must travel to England. On the way to England, Victor meets up with Clerval, his dearest friend. Soon, though Victor leaves Clerval at the house of a friend in Scotland and moves to a remote island to make his second female monster, but one night Victor begins to worry that female monster might turn out more destructive than the first. At the same moment, Victor sees the first monster watching him walk through a window. The horrifying sight pushes Victor to destroy the female monster. The monster vows revenge, warning Victor that it will be with him on his wedding night. Victor takes the remains of the female monster and dumps them in the ocean. But when he returns to shore, he is accused of a murder that was committed the same night. When Victor discovers that the victim is Clerval, he collapses and remains delusional for 2 months. When he wakes up, his father has arrived and he is cleared of the criminal charges against him. Victor returns with his father to Geneva and marries Elizabeth. But on his wedding night, the monster instead kills Elizabeth. Victor's father dies of grief soon thereafter. Now, All alone in the world, Victor dedicates himself solely to seeking revenge against the monster. He tracks the monster to the Arctic but becomes trapped on breaking ice and is rescued by Walton's crew. Walton writes another series of letters to his sister. He tells her about his failure to reach the North Pole and to restore Victor, who died soon after his rescue. Walton's final reply describes his discovery of the monster grieving over Victor's corpse. He accuses the monster of having no remorse, but the monster says it has suffered more than anyone. With Victor dead, the monster has its revenge and plans to end its own life too. So that is the story all about. It's a Gothic tale in its structure. Now, what is the Gothic tale? You just can simply click on the I button and make sure you have watched it out, okay? And Frankenstein has a unique structure too. That it starts with the letter of Walton's to his sister, where he is talking about Victor Frankenstein and Victor is describing his journey. So we, the reader, and Margaret Saville along with us are getting to know this interesting story from her brother's letters. And I hope there are no queries, and if there, please comment down and let me know. Apart from this, there are many questions that are often getting asked in our bachelor's or our master's exam. They are: why Frankenstein is an autobiography of Mary Shelley herself, and what is Mary Shelley's take on science, and how far Frankenstein is related to Paradise Lost, and how much Mary Shelley has explored the level of monstrosity in the novel, and who is the actual monster, the Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein, or the creature that he has created. So all these type of questions are often getting asked in our exams. So I have made a completely separated video on this, and make sure to watch it out so that there are no questions left to be exam prepared. Okay, thank you to watch it out and hope to see you next time.